You're listening to Mostly Metal here on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. And I am excited because I'm joined in the studio by Joe Lawson and Rafael Hernandez of ScreamKing. Welcome, guys.
How you doing?
Thanks for having us.
This is your first official sound check. I just turned on the mics. It seems like everything is working well.
Excellent.
You never know, because a lot of this equipment has probably been idle for months now. Most of the hosts are coming into the studio to do shows now, but I don't know how many people are bringing in guests. So maybe you're the first people to use these extra mics in a couple of months.
Awesome.
Who knows? So thanks for coming in to visit.
Thanks for having us.
We are going to talk about the band in general, the new album plans you guys have. We're going to intersperse conversation with playing some music, not only music by ScreamKing, but music that pairs well with ScreamKing. I got myself in trouble at the very top of the previous hour because the last time I did this with when I was talking with somebody, I said the pairs well thing, like wine and cheese. And so at the start of the last hour, I said we would play some ScreamKing tunes and some other songs that pair well with it, like wine with cheese. And I realized what I just said. I was like, no, it's not ScreamKing, it's the cheese. It's just an analogy. So
excellent.
Yeah, I got to walk that back right away. So this is actually the second chat I've had with somebody in the last few weeks from a band where the name of the band is one word but doubly capitalized. So ScreamKing with the capital S and capital K, as I've seen it in a couple of different places. And I talked to Jeremy from Inner Siege. I don't know if you know them, but they're from the Chicago area. Jeremy Ray is their vocalist, and he called in and we did a phone conversation. And they're Inner Siege. It's one word, no space, but capital I, capital S.
Yeah.
So it was just a weird coincidence. So as we start talking about things, can you say something about the origin of the name of the band?
Yeah. Local radio DJ Tom Lounges came up with the name, and I thought, that's kind of a catchy name. It's got a ring to it, and it just kind of stuck, and we went with it. And the capital S and the capital K, I don't think we really intentionally thought about that. It just looked cool with the writing, and so it kind of stuck that way. It
makes it nicely symmetric, I think, with the two
I
halves
think so
of
too.
the word. Let me do a better job of introducing you guys. I mean, you're hearing Joe Lawson right now, who is the king of Scream. Right?
Hello, everybody.
And Rafael Hernandez, guitarist in the band.
Player.
And there's 5 people altogether.
Yes.
You want to talk about the other guys who are not here?
Yeah, not really. No, just kidding.
Fair enough. Moving on.
On drums, we have Wendell Craig, and on bass, we have Tim Miller, and also on guitar, we have James Noble. So
awesome. I noticed from a video that we'll talk about in a bit that the bass player is a lefty.
Yes, he is.
I was pretty excited by that because I'm a lefty, so I always get excited when I see left-handed people playing their instruments left-handed. Even being left-handed, it still looks weird. Right. When I see them on a screen or on the stage, and it's like, wait, something doesn't look right. Oh, yeah, because they're playing left-handed. So you are promoting here, and obviously anywhere you can, Facebook, social media. You've done other interviews on podcasts and things like that, promoting the new album. And it's called The Indomitable Spirit.
Yes.
And it's been out since late June?
Yep, June 25th.
Okay. How's it? Do you have any measurements so far of how it's doing? What kind of reception it's getting?
You know what? It's doing pretty good, all things considered. I think that it just takes time, and it's difficult in the environment that we're in now to try and sell a product and push something new. And you just got to be perseverant and keep going with it, And so one thing that's different this time around is normally we do pretty good in Europe with some of the smaller indie labels and stuff that support us and record stores. And due to some changes with the VAT taxes and some things like that over there, they can't buy any imports anymore because they're getting raked over the coals on it. So we lost a lot of sales with that. So I'd like to also take this opportunity to let everybody listening know that if you do support us, if you do like a band, whatever the band is, support them now because they need you more than ever. All the metal bands out there, it's a really difficult market right now. So we need your support.
Is this self-released here in the States?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you have to do all of the marketing and everything on your own? How much?
Yes. Yeah. We pretty much
How much
do
blood, sweat, and
everything.
tears goes in with that?
We pretty much do everything.
Right.
Raphael and myself, we record it, we mix it, we mastered it this time. We put together the promotion, the marketing. In the past, we've worked with a couple different people, but again, COVID's kind of changed a lot of that. Some people aren't doing it anymore and aren't around. So we're doing the best that we can on our own, and we scored a couple of deals overseas and in a couple markets, so that's good. And we're working on maybe a couple of more. So hopefully that continues to pick up for us.
Okay, good. Now this is your third album.
Right.
Full. Do you have any kind of third full length album? I jotted down. You have. I jotted it down somewhere. Equilibrium from 2013 was the first one.
Yep.
And I've lost track. I could remember that one.
Tyranny of the Sea.
Tyranny of the Sea from 2017.
17.
Okay. Those two are available on. I know I found that you could find them on Spotify to listen to.
And iTunes and
okay.
Amazon and.
Are they available, like CDs anywhere? Anything left over from the good old days of those?
Yeah, on our website, ScreamKingOfficial.com, we still have both CDs, along with the new one, of course.
Okay.
The new one isn't digitally released yet, though.
Cool. So just another word or language question. So the title of the new CD, The Indomitable Spirit, the with two E's. It's not just the Indomitable Spirit, it's the Indomitable Spirit. So what's the story behind that?
Well, the Indomitable Spirit just has a better ring to it, I thought. And it also ties in with martial arts, and I'm a martial artist. A lot of the song subject matter deals with ninjutsu and samurai culture, stuff like that. So it was just kind of a labor of love, as far as from a writing perspective. That's kind of what I was really wanting to do, and we kind of made an album kind of based on a warrior culture theme.
Very good. So, having talked for a few minutes about the album, let's dive in. And if I'll take host's prerogative and pick the first tune. Literally, I will pick the title track, which is the first track, and it's the one we've been talking about indirectly by saying the name, The Indomitable Spirit. I think it's a great representation of the overall style you guys have, and
thank you.
And how the name ScreamKing fits really well, because you'll hear some vocal acrobatics in this thing.
Also on this song, we have Ronnie Monroe, former Metal Church Trans-Siberian Orchestra vocalist, and Harry Conklin from Jagpanzer and Three Tremors contribute on this album with me on that song.
Oh, cool. Okay. So here we go. Title track, The Indomitable Spirit. The Indomitable Spirit by ScreamKing, the lead track off a CD of the same name. And Joe and Raphael from ScreamKing are right here in the studio. What's it like to sit there and listen to yourself?
It feels pretty good. I just hope everybody else thinks the same.
I don't know if you kind of get over it after a while, but the first, when people talk about hearing your own voice is really weird and it doesn't sound like you. I mean, do you have any of that?
That ended a long time
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm used to all the weirdness of it now.
Do you find yourself kind of listening and just being able to enjoy it, or do you sit there and listen and start thinking, "Oh, I wish we should have done that," or "Oh, I wish I'd done that." I had.
Well, you're always your own worst critic, I think.
Yeah, I still think about stuff like that. Oh, I should have did that a little different, or something different with the song.
Do you think you'll ever regret writing songs where you have to hit those high notes, say 10, 20 years from now?
No, I'll be proud of it. You know, I'll be glad that I was able to do it and that I did it while I could. You know what I mean?
That's good.
I'll probably look back and go, man, I wish I could do that again.
I always wonder about people like Jeff Tate or somebody who their early stuff was just way up there, and then you watch them as the years go on, and they have to make adjustments and things. And I don't know if they look back and say, man, Geddy Lee, man, I wish I'd written that a little bit lower.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, some of their stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So I picked that song because it was the title track and the lead song, but it has so much stuff in there that represents what's in there on the album. And you were talking about how you're into martial arts, and so there's a lot of that embedded in some of the songs. And I noticed if you go down the track list, I'm going to let you say this word because I will probably make a horrible job of it, but track 10. Kuno.
Kunoichi.
Kunoichi. Okay.
Kunoichi is a female ninja.
Okay.
Yeah. And my wife sings on that and also plays piano on it.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
And there's a nice little prelude for one of the other songs, which, if I remember, it might be House of
Iga.
Iga.
Yeah.
So there's the martial arts, or sort of, when I heard it, I was thinking kind of, some Japanese themes. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
yes. Yep.
those kind of thread in and out through different places on the album.
Yes.
And just having listened to most of it all the way through, one of the things that struck me as just, a fan of this kind of music is that a lot of times when we get into sort of intense, fast-paced power metal, things get a little whammy. Not like Wham, the old band, but just wham, 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 wham for 3.5 minutes on end. And I think in a lot of these songs, particularly if I focus on the drumming, it's very precise, and it isn't just wham, wham, wham. There's a lot of good texture in there from all different directions, and even the drumming, which I caught that pretty quick.
I think we've always tried to do that, and intentionally to kind of brand ourselves as a hybrid metal band, not a power metal band, not a progressive metal band, not a thrash metal band, not a classic metal band, but all of those together.
Right.
We want to blend all those influences and have a little bit of all of that. We want our cake and want to eat it too.
Sure. Well, I'm sure it would never get boring.
Right.
That way either. Not being a musician, I don't really have the vocabulary to describe things very well in terms of the musical pieces to it, but I noticed also from listening that the vocals you put in a lot of different cadences, so it's not just sing along, sing along, sing along. There's some that's almost a little bit more spoken, or even kind of half singing, half conversation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you say something about that particular style?
Sometimes I just feel that a melodic approach isn't always necessary, if that makes sense. Sometimes a staccato or a more aggressive approach or a spoken word part just seems to fit to me. I don't really intentionally do it. It's just kind of a feel thing, If I feel like that's a part that would work better there, I try and do something like that, just to also blend it a little bit so it's not like the same thing, just bashing over and over again, whether it's a catchy melody or not. If it salt and pepper is good on a steak, but not the whole salt shaker.
How does the songwriting process work with you guys? How does it break down? Who's in charge of everything and tells everybody what to do? Or
No, not just me. The songs were just...
Whoops. Sorry, I was moving my clipboard and accidentally touched my pad.
They were approached writing-wise from different angles each time. Like, I would write riffs, send them to Joe, he'd write the lyrics, or I'd give him lyrics, hoping they would turn out one way, and then he did something different with them, and then we got a new song. All different ways. Start off with a bass line, or I'd write some lyrics, and then Joe would hum some guitar parts, or wanted me to play something in a guitar solo, but or songs could be about a dream I had, or just ideas Joe had. They're just from all over the place.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think that is unique about our songwriting chemistry. It's not one set formula. Like you said, sometimes I'll come up with an idea, sometimes he'll come up with an idea. And we just kind of feed off of each other and put it together.
At the risk of making you feel older, it's been almost 10 years since your first album.
Yeah.
Equilibrium, which is a great name, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you notice a lot of changes or growth in how you approach things now compared to then?
I think we've learned a lot along the way, and I'd like to think that we've improved in maybe our songwriting and several other areas. It's like anything else. The more you do it, the more you learn and you grow, and maybe things get a little easier, and some things, you learn to approach them a different way that works better.
Nice. So let's take another musical break. why don't we do it this way, since we've been talking about your sound? We will pick one more track off of this album. We'll play more, but we'll pick one more at first, and then we'll pair it with something. So I did notice, I made a note of this, that I go to the Metal Archives website, and to make sure I know, have seen some names of the people, make sure I've gotten a little familiar with the older discography. And it's fun to click on the little tab that's similar artists. Sometimes bands will hit with, a list this long of similar artists. I don't know if you guys have seen your own Metal Archives band page. But
Actually, I haven't.
If you click similar artists, there's one, Dragon Lore. And I've never heard Dragon Lore, so I can't attest to that being accurate.
That's an album that I did last year.
Oh, no wonder it sounds similar. Okay.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But you gave me some suggestions and provided some music that does go well with ScreamKing. So why don't you guys pick what song off of your album should we play next, and then what of the songs that you said kind of go well with it, which one should we do?
Well, we can just keep rolling with track 2,
okay,
which is Reign of Hellfire. And what do you want to play with it?
How about Tyranny of Souls?
Tyranny of Souls? Okay. So we'll do that. Here comes Reign of Hellfire. But before I play it, since that is the magic track with the video,
yes,
we should mention that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we got a video with that.
Mm-hmm. So go to YouTube.
Yes.
And
official ScreamKing YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the video.
Okay, so you can hear it here, and then go check it out on YouTube. So Reign of Hellfire by ScreamKing, and then Tyranny of Souls by Bruce Dickinson, because they go well together.
Divine,
That was not ScreamKing. That was Bruce Dickinson with the title track off of Tyranny of Souls, just offered as music that pairs well with ScreamKing in terms of being an influence or just a favorite to go along with their music. I have Rafael Hernandez and Joe Lawson in the studio from ScreamKing. We've already been talking for a little more than half an hour about their new album, The Indomitable Spirit. We've heard a couple of tracks off of it. We've had that Bruce Dickinson track just to kind of break things up and give a little variety. Joe, I'll put you on the spot since you were saying earlier that you were that you do a podcast, and a recent version was talking about Bruce Dickinson. So recap that tune.
Tyranny of Souls. I think it's a great song, and it gets confused a lot, and that was one of the things that people mentioned about the whole album, Chemical Wedding. What's he talking about? He's into astrology and a lot of things like that. So, subject matter, maybe that goes over some people's heads, and it is what it is, but it's phenomenal music, and I love it. So. I think it's a great track. The whole album is, and I think it's a great natural progression from where he left off with the Chemical Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it just fits.
Why don't you go ahead and plug all the details about that podcast while we're talking about it?
I do a podcast called This Is Metal. We put it out on Facebook and YouTube, and Chaotic Riffs Magazine publishes it, so it's on their website as well. And we usually do two a month. And the last episode we recorded was on Bruce Dickinson, and we cover a wide variety of different metal bands and different discussion topics, Megadeth and different bands that we just like. My co-host is Jason Houston. He's out of Los Angeles, and so it's just an interesting and fun thing I started doing just this year. So I really enjoy doing it.
Is it a regular kind of weekly thing, or?
Well, we've been recording every week, so we have all this stockpile material.
Okay.
But we only put out two a month. So that's what we've been publishing.
Well, that's probably good, because then if you run into a situation where you can't get in there and get it done, you have the backing to just keep going on that regular schedule. Do you have an idea of your subscriber base? Like how many? That
I don't. That's a good question. I just do it for the love of it, to be honest. I really do.
Yeah, I'm in exactly the same position here, because we don't, you're in the headquarters of the WVLP empire, and it might be hard to believe, but we don't really have tracking of listenership or any of the the feedback that big powerful stations might get. And so people will ask, how many people listen to you, and I'm like, I have no idea, but I have fun when I come in here on Sunday night.
That's what matters. Absolutely.
So there you go.
Yep.
But I guess some metrics we can tell by how many people are listening to the live stream. I guess they can track that.
Yeah.
And so either it's legitimately people that are listening, hi out there if you are.
And thank you for tuning in.
Exactly. Or people that just left something on and left their apartment, and
that's cool too.
There's nobody there to listen to. So I'll put both of you on the hot seat for this question, being metal heads, metal stars, and talking about other fandoms and things like that. If there was something that that you would be embarrassed that people knew that you like to listen to. I mean, not embarrassed, but unlikely. Like I like Yanni. I've seen him live multiple times, but just it's not something that people would expect, being that most of the time I'm listening to metal. So what's something out in left field that you really enjoy?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Yeah, for me, I pretty much mainly stick to metal and hard rock. I really do. I mean, I actually love the blues though. So any good blues music, I'm a big fan of that too. So
okay,
nothing really weird or I'm not that versatile, I guess.
Good time for a plug, though. Thanks for the segue. The replay of Mostly Metal happens Wednesday from 10 to midnight. So if you miss any of this or you want to tell your friends about it, this coming Wednesday at 10 o'clock, the show starts again. And this conversation with ScreamKing would start at about 11, as long as everything is running properly. But right before that, 8 to 10 p.m., Bill Page has a show called The Blues Drive.
Cool.
And he does 2 hours of blues. He's been doing it almost ever since the station went on the air. He's the person who's had the longest uninterrupted run of being a show host on WVLP, and he is a blues knowledge powerhouse. So
excellent.
I would definitely recommend that you check that out.
I will. Very cool.
Raphael, do you have one that's
Not
sort
really.
of out in left field?
No, I listen to a lot of different styles of music, like classical guitar. I don't listen to country or anything like that, but metal. I don't know. Nothing embarrassing, I guess.
Okay.
Not
You
to
gonna
me.
tell them about
Not
that
to
Boys
me.
to Men album you got?
I don't even know who that is.
It just came to mind when you mentioned classical guitar and things like that. One of my favorites has always been Rick Emmett, which everybody knows him from Triumph, but he has a string of solo albums that go all over the place in terms of different styles, and that's those are things that are terrific to listen to as well. On the subject of being metal guys, Joe, you mentioned you have children, a child or children.
Yeah.
Are they old enough to know what it is you do and have a reaction to it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My daughter's supportive of it and always has been. She's 22 and she thinks it's cool. She likes it. So, yeah, it's not anything weird or anything like that, I mean, maybe she tells her friends that. I don't know, but she, she's cool with it. She's cool about it, absolutely, and supportive of it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good. My kids indulge me sometimes when we're driving around in the car. One of them will tell me, "Dad, you can listen to your music now if you want."
Yep. There you go.
I know way more about pop music and things like that than I ever wanted to.
Yep.
Earlier in the show, you mentioned on this album that's been released in late June, The Indomitable Spirit, that you have several pretty heavy hitters as guest stars. You mentioned Harry Conklin from Jag Panzer on the title track that we already listened to.
Right.
And Ronnie Monroe.
Ronnie Monroe.
Yeah.
Tim Ripper Owens
Yep.
was
and,
on one of the
Trail of
songs.
Death. Yep. And along with James Rivera from Hellstar.
He's been around a while. That's a name I recognize from
Yeah,
like
they
a couple
call
of
James
decades
they
ago.
call James the Mexican Dio. He's a powerhouse. He's a great guy. He's a good friend too.
There's I can't call him a new singer. He's, I guess, relatively new on the scene in terms of at least my recognizing him. His name's Ronnie Romero, and
I've heard the name.
He's another one of the kind of the classic Dio style vocalists, and he's really good. So I
Cool.
recommend checking him out. Trying to remember the name of his. If I want to say Souls of Black, but that's a Testament album. That's not the name of his of his band. How does that end up working? Are these personal connections you guys already had, or
Yeah, some of them were. We had played shows with them or developed relationships, friendships with some of the people, and some of them, I just always thought, what, I could kind of hear it in my head. It'd be cool if I had this guy sing on this with me, or if this person did, a song with me. That would be cool, and it was just kind of a labor of love kind of thing, hey, reach out to them and see, I guess that's one of the things with COVID, it was kind of convenient because a lot of these people weren't nearly as busy as they normally would be, you know, and so the availability was there. With Reign of Hellfire, Joe Stump did a guitar solo on that as well, and he is in Alcatraz now. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I know the name.
Yeah.
Dave, that name has been around quite a while, hasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, he's an instrumentalist. He just put out a new instrumental album. I'm gonna say it's Diabolic Fury or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. Sorry if I got that wrong, Joe. And he's also the master tutor at Berklee School of Music.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
With the album being out in CD form, which you can order through ScreamKingOfficial.com.
That's right.
How's that for a plug?
Yep.
Excellent.
You said it's not released digitally yet, but will it be available for people to purchase MP3 wise at some point, or?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about when it's going to be released, but it will eventually.
Okay. And are you doing the vinyl cassette? And I know more bands are releasing things on cassette again.
Can we get the station to foot the bill?
You know, we might have a box of blank cassettes over there behind that curtain, so help yourself.
Yeah. Can't hurt to ask, I figured.
I don't know if people have requested any different formats like putting
yeah,
it on
absolutely.
vinyl and things.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is it wasn't that long ago. I mean, maybe it still is. There's a big vinyl kick. You know,
Right.
you walk in some of these stores, even downtown Chicago, and they don't have CDs anymore. They don't have anything else. They got a whole room full of vinyl, and it's like, wow, it's like walking through a time warp.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool, really. But
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if that's still kind of the thing. Like I said, with the cost of things going up and the imports kind of slowing down or stopping, you know, I think that's going to have an effect on people shipping vinyl for sure. But I hope people still buy vinyl and listen to it. I think it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I know my Facebook feed is filled up more and more with pictures of, somebody has a nice setup in the What's Playing stand where they take a picture of the album that's sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I
That
miss
is
those
cool.
days.
Mhm, absolutely.
All right, so let's pick a third song from the album to listen to. Do you guys have a choice?
Yeah, why don't we do Trail of Death?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to prelude that with my own selection of a Pairs With, because, my first exposure to you singing, hitting those high notes, I was like, that rang a bell, and it started making me flash back to some more old school metal that I've listened to. So I'm going to play a track that it put me in the mind of.
Cool.
When I was listening to it.
All right.
And I'll give you a quiz
Uh-oh.
to see if you recognize it. It's okay if you don't, although I'll get them on the phone and tell them. So I'm gonna play that one first, and then we'll listen to Trail of Death off of the ScreamKing album.
Awesome.
Once mean nothing. Treaties were signed. Now I wanna watch on a sky under blood moon skies. A scene of horror so wicked that it made the angels cry. Trail of death. Trail of death. Trail of death. From our homes were driven away, captured and taken, the evil remains. Thrown and jolted under a canvas of flames, shadow tinted, of death measure made. Trail of death. Trail of death. Trail of death. Trail of death. Desolation, demise. 41 of us now return to the skies. Forever remember your unholy lies. Vengeance attained. Against your advice.
Trail of Death by ScreamKing off of The Indomitable Spirit. Before that, Through Eyes of Glass by Forbidden, a flashback to my cassette collection in the 1980s. You were talking about people guest appearing on the album. Tim Ripper Owens there and that song. How did that collaboration come about?
Honestly, I didn't know Tim, and I just reached out to him. And same thing with James Rivera, but I knew James, and so those guys recorded the tracks at their own studios and sent them to us, and we mixed them and everything. So they turned out great, and like I said, I think that's one benefit for us with COVID kind of played a role in that, because people like Tim and Ronnie, these guys, they tour constantly. They're putting out albums constantly. They probably wouldn't have had time normally to do it even. So that worked in our favor,
Okay. As COVID is hopefully winding down and things are opening up, do you guys have plans to do some shows? Any live events?
Yeah, we're working on that. We got a new lineup with these guys, and we're working on a new set list. And ultimately, what I would like to do is build up enough of a set list to where we can play our own shows. I mean, the whole night. Or maybe get like one opening band or something like that, and because, the touring bands and stuff like that, it's great playing shows with nationals and stuff. I mean, and we'll still do that, if a good gig comes our way and we can get on it, awesome. But, it's nice to be able to do your own shows and have time to set up, and time to break down and get good sound checks and, and all of that, and I kind of miss doing that back when I was younger in bands. We used to do that all the time, everywhere we went, we did our own thing, we had 3-4 hours worth of material, So I'm kind of used to that, and it would be fun to be able to do our own thing again a little bit more.
What's the sort of the highest profile gig that you found yourself on in the history of the band in terms of sharing a stage with somebody?
Metal Church.
Yeah, I'd say that would probably definitely be up there. Yeah, we played with Metal Church in Chicago.
Neat.
We played with Anvil. Raven. Hellstar, Ross the Boss,
right?
Sanctuary, variety of guys and bands, and they were all great gigs, and we're grateful for every one of those shows for sure.
Do you have a dream pairing? Like if somebody was coming through Chicago and suddenly they had to pick up the phone and call somebody and said, "Hey, come do 45 minutes for us before we're on."
For me, it'd probably be like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
You did say Dream, so I mean,
they do have opening acts. So.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about related to the band, the album, that you want to discuss? Make sure people know.
We got 2 videos out. We got Reign of Hellfire, and we got a lyric video out for Caligula. And Andy Pinkleton did a great job on that from Very Metal Art out of the UK. He does phenomenal work. And we just released that recently. And we're working on another video for The Indomitable Spirit, which features Harry and Ronnie both in the video.
Oh, neat.
Right.
So that'll be fun. That'll be really cool. And we're going to put that out as soon as we can get that wrapped up and done, too.
Cool. That sounds nice. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. So what I'm going to do is pipe down the microphones and wrap up the conversation part of this. But thank you guys for coming in. It's been a blast. We used up the whole hour.
Well, thanks for having us.
Without
It flew by.
And because nobody comes in the station after me and there's just automated programming, I can keep playing stuff.
Yeah.
So even though we won't be talking anymore, I'm going to play a couple more ScreamKing songs off of the album. And I'll build a whole 20-minute set out of a couple of those and a couple of the other tracks that you had brought in sort of as pairs with.
All right.
Do you want to, should I put in the KK's Priest,
That's a good
Hellfire,
one.
That's good.
Thunderbolt? That's a nice match. Reign of Hellfire and Hellfire Thunderbolt goes together. Tim Ripper Owens singing on your song, singing in KK's Priest. So that's a great pairing. And let's see, you also had had suggested Arch Enemy, Lamb of God, Overkill are tracks that we haven't hit yet. So what's your pleasure to go along with that?
Any of those are great, man. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And just to make you do all the hard work, 2 more ScreamKing tracks you want to make sure everybody hears.
I would say Caligula.
You're making it easy for me because we're just
Yeah.
going track 1, track 2, track 3. So I appreciate that. I don't have
I
to
would say
find it. Where the heck
Caligula
is that
and Kunoichi.
song?
That-
Okay,
that's what I'll
you're
say.
gonna make me jump to number 10.
There you go.
All right. Okay,
And
we'll do that.
One more last shameless plug. Go to ScreamKingOfficial.com, and it's a 6-panel digipack with an 8-page booklet with amazing artwork featured by Drake Mafesta. He did a phenomenal job on that as well, and it's 14 killer tracks. So go on the website and order your copy. We're running low on them, so get them while you can. Maybe there'll be a second pressing, maybe we won't. I don't know. So it depends on you, the listeners. So we need, we rely on your support.
All right. And then Caligula also has someone we didn't mention, Rusty Cooley.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Rusty Cooley did a guest shredding solo on.
Nice. All right. So we'll hear Caligula. We'll hear Kunoichi.
Yep.
We will hear some KK's Priest. And I've forgotten the other one you told me to play. Was it Arch Enemy? Overkill?
Yeah.
Either one.
Either one.
Okay.
They're both good.
They're like 3 seconds apart in time, so we'll do Overkill. How about that?
There we go.
Okay. So thanks again for coming in. It's been a blast.
Thanks for
All right,
having us.
thanks.
We appreciate it.
Stick around to listen to more ScreamKing, a couple of tracks off of the new album, The Indomitable Spirit. This is Caligula on Mostly Metal on WVLP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana.
There is no escape, so let them hate as long